morning. Welcome to the Show. That's history, movies, and music. I'm Alex Worth alongside Johnny Reynolds here in the KWDM studio. We're so glad that you're joining us on this somewhat cold, somewhat gloomy Tuesday morning. Spring is here, though. Allergies in full effect here at Valley High School. So glad you're joining us today. Johnny, what do you got for our history today?
Oh, yeah, as promised, we got some World War II. We got talked about the U.S. stock market crash, which was a very specific event. But that ended up leading to a war known as World War II. You probably know about World War II, but we're going to be breaking it down from about 1939 to 1945, which was largest and most significant conflicts in human history. If you really think about it, I would say this war was definitely worse than World War I, and lots of the countries, they didn't want to have war, was a big thing.
Yeah, they're all just kind of dragged into it.
Yeah, it was basically really Germany who wanted the war, and everyone was anti-war because a lot of tragedy after World War I. And Germany was able to really rebuild, and that kind of started with the invasion of Poland, which was on September 1st, 1939, which really marked the beginning of the World War II type war. And this basically promoted Britain and France to declare war on Germany.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about like how quickly Britain and France just immediately jumped in like as soon as Poland got invaded. So it's definitely weird to think about. Like now, I don't know if that would happen. It's weird to think about it in modern day terms. Like if some other country got attacked, like how likely would it be for a country to jump in and like enter a war? Like that it's not like Britain or France got attacked. So that's definitely the old times of fighting, it seems.
Yeah, they were just trying to do anything to protect the rest of the world. No one really wanted war. Everyone was very anti-war. And really, after the World War I, it was the Treaty of Versailles that kind of shut down Germany. But with Hitler gaining power, he was able to rebuild a really strong military and really started to take over Europe after the invasion of Poland, which this then led up to the Battle of Britain. This was a huge war. London was bombed significantly. Even after a bomb set in London, the English troops, Air Force, set a bomb to Berlin, and Hitler was not happy about that. So he kind of retreated from that, which who knows what could have happened in the Battle of Britain if Germany never retreated, because it was getting some really bad bombings all throughout England.
Yeah, and I feel like England is such a densely populated country, like with the big cities, it definitely could have been a lot worse.
Oh, yeah. And then we got the Operation, I believe it's Barbarossa. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that. But this was the name code for Nazi Germany with the invasion of the Soviet Union. And this was, quite frankly, like the largest military operation. But it did not work with Germany. The Soviet Union was very strong, and they continued to be strong up to the Cold War, and obviously fell after that. But yeah, I don't really agree with what Nazi Germany was trying to do there, because they just were just trying to attack a really strong Soviet Union, and it wasn't a good way to try to take over Europe, and it obviously failed for them.
Yeah, they tried to, do too much too soon. It's like, you gotta win the small battles first, I guess.
Yeah. And then a tragedy, as we know, in the United States, and what we had was Pearl Harbor, which Japan really wanted to get involved within the war, and it was basically a surprise attack. Us Americans, even if you're listening, you probably know about this tragedy, Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. I mean, this attack led to the United States, and country United States very angry, and that's how it got them into World War II.
And yeah, I know that's something that we talked about in AP U.S. history is that like Germany probably would have won the war had Japan not bombed America, and so that was definitely a turning point in the war in favor of the Allies because you've got one of the strongest militaries in the world who just entered the war after like Britain is almost like tapped out, France is almost tapped out, and it's like okay, here comes the reinforcements. It's like that was monumental in the war.
Yeah, Japan really wanted to jump right into attacking the United States, and the thing was, the U.S. was very anti-war going into World War II. I mean, they were anti-war like a lot because they had some Germans within the country, and they didn't really want to get involved and didn't really want to get into any trouble. But with this, they had to get involved, and it's honestly for the best because who knows what could have happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, had America not got involved, like what really would have happened in World War II?
And then you have a D-Day, which was really all the Allied forces that launched a massive attack that was invasion on France. So that was Germany. Italy became an independent state, but this was like the same way how Germany tried to invade France in World War I. It was the same strategy. They were able to get some ground and Hitler ended up getting all the way to Paris, but thankfully Britain and the United States helped during D-Day to push them back because this could have been bad. There was a thing called, I think it was something that was Germany had partial control of France. I don't exactly know what it was called, but for some time during that war, maybe a year, Germany had power of some certain parts of France, so that it was not looking good for the French, and thankfully the United States and Britain were able to help out there. And then we're going to go to the atomic bombings, which really helped and was the end of the war significantly to take down the Japanese as Hitler was already falling. This was in August 1945, and this basically led to the surrender of World War II when the United States dropped the bombings. Then you really had the fall of Berlin, which was around the same time, and it was the unconditional surrender of Germany, and that was the end of the war because they were all Soviet Union, United States, Britain, France. They were all trapped around Berlin. Hitler had nothing to do but commit suicide unless he wanted to get, taken away.
Put in a prison for the rest of his life. Yeah, the end of the war, it definitely I feel like it escalated really fast because with the atomic bombs, one of the most debated war tactics of all times. Like how ethical was it to drop the bombs? Like, did you kill more people than would have been saved, or more people saved than were killed? And so it's definitely a hot topic. I know we talked about that in AP US history last year, was the ethicality and like what would we have done in that situation based on like articles with statistics and stuff like that. But it's definitely a tough decision, tough topic for some. Because it was brutal.
Yeah, if you think about it, the United States, once they got involved, they were really like, no mercy. We got to save our country, putting our country first, and they were not happy with that Pearl Harbor attack from Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so definitely, there's a lot that you can talk about in World War II. It's a very in-depth war with lots of events. So and there's tons of movies out there. And speaking of movies, it's time for To See or Not to See. Been a few weeks since we've done this, so there's some good releases.
Yeah.
Starting off, Monkey Man. That's Dev Patel. I want to say this is his first big name movie. He's the producer, the director, the writer, and the lead actor for it. Got a critic score of 88% and an audience score of 84%. And pretty much it's about this man who gets sucked into an underground fight club. And so then he gets revenge on the elites and tries to, fight his way to the top and take down the people who I don't know if enslaved is the right word, but kept him in this system of fighting and like he'd get beat up every night because like they wanted the better or the more popular wrestlers to win. And it's not a spoiler. It's on, like, you look up the movie and that's like the first thing it says. So no spoilers here on 88.7 KWDM The Point.
Yeah, credits to Patel for this movie because he's really advertised and marketed this movie greatly. I've seen some ads from this almost about a year from now, and I'm ready to watch this. This was one of the movies like I thought would have been a cool movie, and seeing some good critic scores and good audience scores, I say it's to see.
Yeah. I think this one is definitely one that you should see. Next up, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Kind of going back to the World War II vibe here. So this movie got a 72% critic score and a 94% audience score, so really good. It's about a group of top secret soldiers for Britain, and they battle the Nazis in like a unique way. Like they are the, like, I don't know if you call them like the rogue squad or like the ungentlemanly warfare. It's not the like trench warfare. It's sneak in and attack and stuff like that. So definitely that one I said to see as well. I think it's got a pretty good cast in it too. Alan Ritchson, Henry Cavill I think is in there. I don't know. I'd have to look at the cast list, but it looks like it'll be a pretty good movie. So that one is to see. And then Abigail. This movie is a little twisted. I saw an ad for this and it was like, okay, that's a little weird. So it's a group of criminals try to kidnap and hold a young girl hostage so that they can get ransom money from her dad, only to find out she's a vampire ballerina. And so then, like, so at first you think, like, oh, they're, like, holding her hostage. Like, it's going to be, like, her trying to escape. Nope. It's the criminals trying to escape because the house gets locked down and they've got a vampire ballerina trying to kill them. So, yeah, this one it got an 85% critic score, 87% audience score. So that's pretty good for a like a horror movie, thriller movie. So that's if you're into that just would probably be one of the good ones to see.
Yeah, it's definitely like a specific type of movie, and it might not like be for everyone, but if you're kind of like enjoying that like type of movie, I think it'd be a really good movie to see, and it definitely sounds really interesting. I just couldn't imagine like what the ending could lead to.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like, I don't know how like graphic and gory it gets, but like it's definitely could be a little twisted. And the last movie is Civil War. This one is about a group of journalists who make their way to D.C. during a national civil war. I don't know. I feel like the trailers are a little. I don't know if cryptic is the right word, but like it doesn't really tell you a whole lot of like what's going on. You just know that, like, they're trying to get to Washington D.C. This one got an 84% or 81% critic score, 74% audience score. This one, I'm not sure if it's to see or not to see because I looked at a couple of the verified audience reviews and they're just kind of saying that it's boring and that like there's not a whole lot of action. But then like other people were saying like, oh, it's not like meant to be about the action. It's meant to be about like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the like people during the war and the like survival and like trying to like bring justice upon like a corrupt president or something like that. And so yeah, I feel like you could watch it. Might not be the best movie of the year, but wouldn't be the worst either.
Yeah, for me personally, I think this would possibly be a movie I would enjoy or just to take a watch because I think that, you know, it could have some just good balance in, you know, what kind of the war is like outside of the battlefield. And I do enjoy history. I'm obviously not a pro, but I do just enjoy learning new things every day. And I just think I really enjoy just watching some history documentaries or movies.
Yeah, I think I feel like it could be a little slow at times, just because it's not focused on battles. It's focused on the journalists, and like I feel like that could kind of make it like drag on just a little bit. But yeah, I think that I've seen a lot of advertisements for it, so like either way, 81% critic and 74% audience. Like that's still pretty good
Oh,
compared
yeah.
to tons of other movies.
And it definitely makes you like kind of think the type of movie it is. Like if it's not really towards the battlefield, you really don't see like a lot of the outside of the battlefield. This is really what happens in every war. You kind of have to have these important moments that you just don't think about.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely interesting. Yeah, I'll probably watch it at some point. Yeah, that'll be cool to see just how they go about it with the journalistic point of view. So that'll do it for today's show. Thank you all for joining us on this wonderful Tuesday morning. Hope everybody has a great day and a great rest of the week. We've got the What in the World Wednesday show tomorrow, Mac and the boys on Thursday, and then we will have fourth quarter. No, we will not have fourth quarter Friday because we don't have school on Friday. So 2 more shows this week. So be sure that you tune in alongside Johnny Reynolds. I'm Alex Worth. Have a great day, everyone.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat, and apologies if it gets someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life. Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel.